Welcome to Genesis chapter 31, Jacob's flight from Laban. I'll read a little in the Greek, and then we'll go through the chapter. Ikuse de Yaakov, ta rimataton ion lavan, legon ton. Ilifen Yaakov patata tu patrosimon, ke ek ton tu patrosimon, Pepika pasantin doxantaftin. And Jacob heard the utterances of the sons of Laban, saying, Jacob has taken all the things of our father, and from out of the things of our father he has procured all this glory. So now we have warring relatives, and many of us have experienced warring relatives, brother against sister, especially when it comes to money, our inheritances, and so forth. They've made movies about it. And here, these sons of Laban, who were just cousins to Jacob, feel like Jacob has taken everything unfairly because he has all of these things. So therefore, they want what Jacob has. And so they're going to cause problems. And it continues in 2, and Jacob saw the face of Laban, and behold, he was not for him as yesterday and the third day before. So he's changed his countenance towards Jacob. And the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your father and to your family, and I will be with you. So the command of God to return is with the exclamation in the imperative. So God is telling him now to return. God's in control of everything. We just don't see it. We think that man has control of everything, but he doesn't. And the Bible pretty much brings these things out. But if you don't have the Bible and you have politics leading you, then you would think that man has all these capabilities that come from the person themselves or people, like global warming. Now, there may be global climate change. Climate's always changing. But there was a man about 30 years ago who predicted all sorts of flooding in the world with global warming. Well, none of it ever came to pass, but yet the people that are following this type of a mentality continue to follow it and calling it climate change, and that mainly thinking that man can somehow control the climate. Well, good luck. I don't see that, even if I suppose, you could have some bad things going on if all the atom bombs and hydrogen bombs in the world went off at the same time. All the volcanoes in the world spewed their ashes at the same time, and tornadoes were all over the world, earthquakes shaking everything. It could cause the world, the earth, it would cause some problems. And if an asteroid hit it, it could kill a lot of people, but those aren't caused by man. They are caused by God. God has designed the earth to do certain things. They call it Mother Nature, but I hate that word Mother Nature. It's the plans of God. And verse 4 it continues, and Jacob, sending, called Leah and Rachel, his wives, to the plain where the flocks were. So they were in another spot. They had tents and so forth, or houses. And now they came to where Jacob is with the flocks. And he said to them, Well, I see the face of your father, that it is not towards me as yesterday and the third day before. Now, the saying in the third day before is an idiom that was, I imagine it has to do with the Jews of that time, because you see it in quite a few places. But the God of my father was with me. Now he's showing that his belief in the God of Abraham being with him. Actually, it was his grandfather. Well, it was God. Isaac was his father, so I guess it would be his father, but originally it was with Abraham. But also, you yourselves know that in all my strength I have served to your father, but your father cheated me and bartered my wage for the 10 lambs. And the God of my father gave not to him power to do evil against me. If thus he should have said, that be Laban should have said, the colored will be your wage, then all the flocks would bear colored. And if he should have said, well, the white will be your wage, then all the flocks would bear white. And God removed all the herds of your father and gave them to me. The blessings of God surpass what man can do. Man can cause a lot of problems with a lot of people, but God brings us blessings be untold, families and places to live that are not dangerous, being around like-minded people that have Jesus in their hearts and want to help each other. Many societies have flourished throughout the world that way, that were Christian, and completely surpassed any other peoples of any other religion, not even close. The Hindus and most of the Hindus in India are living abject poverty. And China and Asia mostly was all in poverty until the last 50, 30 or 40 years, I suppose. And I think that is because a lot of Christians are no longer following Christ and they're giving up on Christianity. And so now God is rewarding the Western civilization with destruction. And so God removed all the herds of your father and gave them to me. And it came to pass when the flocks were stimulated, as we mentioned in the last chapter, and talking about the stimulation, which I was guessing about not being a shepherd. But here it says, and it came to pass when the flocks were stimulated, conceiving in the womb, that I saw them with my eyes. Now, the stimulation was probably the male, and the womb was what happened because of the males being stimulated. And behold, the he-goats and the rams, males, ascended upon the flocks, even upon the she-goats, white mixed, colored, ashen, speckled. And the angel of God said to me during sleep. Now, this is interesting because right here it says angel of God, but then down below we'll see where it says God. And the angel of God said to me during sleep, Jacob? And I said, what is it? And he said, look up with your eyes and see the he-goats and the rams ascending upon the flocks, even upon the she-goats, white mixed and colored, and ashen speckled. For I have seen as much as Laban does to you. I am God, the one appearing to you in the place of God, of which you anointed to me there a monument. Stealing is a stele is a monument like the Washington Monument. And you vowed to me there a vow, and that would have been at Bethel. Now, then rise up and go forth from out of this land and go forth into the land of your birth. And the map here is they're way up here in Haran, and now Canaan is way down here. So he's going to head south. And answering, Rachel and Leah said to him, there's not to us still a portion of inheritance in the house of our father? Are we not considered as aliens to him? He's probably choosing the brothers for all the good things to give from his riches, that is Laban. And for he has sold us and ate up, devouring our silver. All the riches and the glory which the God of our father removed will be ours and our children's. Now then, as much as God has said to you, you do. And rising up, Jacob took his wives and his children upon the camels. And he took away all his possessions and all his belongings, which he procured in Mesopotamia, and all his things to go forth to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. So he's heading south. And Laban set out to shear his flocks. And Rachel stole the idols of her father. So here we see that Laban was an idolater. He was in the lineage. Here, let's go to this map. Not a map, but we can see here that Terah was the lineage going from all the way down, from Adam down through Noah, down to Terah. And then Terah was the father of Abraham, and Sarah was related somehow, either a sister, half-sister, a cousin, niece. And then over here we have Nahor, and then Aaron, who was the father of Lot, who died up in, I believe he died in Haran, or he died in Mesopotamia. I can't remember which for sure, but this is who Laban was. So Rachel steals the idols, and Jacob hid the fact from Laban the Syrian, not the idols, but so as not to announce to him that he's running away. And he ran away, he and all of his, and he passed over the river, and that would have probably been the Euphrates, went down into Canaan, advanced into the mountain of Gilead. Now with the mountain of Gilead here, now he's up here, way up in here, and he's coming down, and Gilead is down in here, sort of where the Golan Heights are today, someplace in that area. Maybe it was the Golan Heights. And it was announced to Laban the Syrian on the third day that Jacob ran away. Now the Syrian means that he was from Syria, which was not over in Mesopotamia proper, where Nineveh, Babylon were, but it was more up at the top there where Haran was. And Laban, taking all the ones of his brothers with himself, he pursued after him, Jacob, a 7 days' journey. And he overtook him in the mountain of Gilead. That's pretty far south that Jacob made it. And God came to Laban the Syrian during Hypno, comes from that, the hypnotic, in the Nikta, nocturnal night. And he said to him, guard, lest at any time you should speak evil against Jacob. And Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob pitched his tent in the mountain, and Laban stationed his brothers in the mountain of Gilead, so they're together. And Laban said to Jacob, what did you do? Why did you secretly run away and ransack me and took away my daughters as captives taken by the sword? For if you announced to me, I would have sent out even you with gladness and with music, musikon, the transliteration, and tympanon. A timpani is like a drum instrument that you hit, tambourines, and harps. And am I not worthy to kiss my children and my daughters? Now then, you acted unwisely. And now my hand is strong to do evil against you, but the God of your father, see now he's not, that would have been Abraham, so God appeared to Abraham, but apparently not to Nahor or Aaron, his 2 brothers. And he said to me, God said to me being Laban yesterday, saying, guard yourself lest at any time you should speak evil against Jacob. Now then, go. For with desire you desired to go forth into the house of your father. But why did you steal my gods? And answering, Jacob said to Laban, for I said, lest, now he's not answering because of the gods, but why he left, lest at any time you should remove your daughters from me and all the things mine. And Jacob said, Jacob thinking he was going to take them all away because of his sons. And Jacob said, "Well, by whomsoever you should find your gods, he shall not live before our brothers. Recognize what is from me the things of yours, and take them." And he, Laban, did not recognize among what was to him, not one thing. But Jacob knew not that Rachel, his wife, stole them. And entering, Laban searched the house of Leah. Now, house, probably maybe I'll have to add abode, because they were living in tents, I'm pretty sure here, not in a house. Could have been an abode. He searched in the abode of Leah and did not find. And he came forth from out of the abode of Leah. And he searched the abode of Jacob, and in the house, abode of his 2 maidservants, and he did not find. And he entered also into the abode of Rachel. And Rachel took the idola, transliteration, and put them in the pack saddles of the camelu, camel, and sat on them. So her father comes, and she's on the camel, and she said to her father, "Well, do not bear heavily, O master. I shall not be able to rise up before you, for the things according to the custom of women is to me." She's on her period, and didn't want to raise up to show what happens, and so the father doesn't have her get up. And Laban searched the entire house and did not find the idols. And Jacob was provoked to anger, and he quarreled with Laban. And responding, Jacob said, now he could have just shut up and let him go, but he's now going to open his mouth. And what is my offense? And what is my sin that you pursued after me? And that you searched all the items of my house? What did you find from all the items of your house? Put here before your brothers and my brothers, and let them reprove between the two of us. So he's kind of saying maybe the brothers took his idols. These 20 years I am with you. So now as 20 years went by when he was left his mother and father. And your flocks and your goats were not barren, and the rams of your flocks I did not eat. That, taken by wild beasts, I have not brought to you. I paid for them by myself, even thefts by day and thefts by night. So apparently people were stealing animals even then. Rustlers, cattle rustlers. I was burning with the sweltering heat by day and with the icy coldness of the night. And my sleep departed from my eyes. These 20 years I am in your residence. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years among your sheep. And you cheated my wage by 10 ewe lambs. Unless the God of my father Abraham and the fear of Isaac was with me, now then would you have sent me empty. So he's showing that God is protecting him. He's a protector. My humiliation and the toil of my hands, God saw. God sees our things that are going on bad in our life, and he can act on them however he sees fit. He allows these tests to come, but he also alleviates them in many ways. You can start off and the day is going to be bad. You lost something or something, your car wouldn't start, and then you can get really bummed out. But yet, at the end of the day, you can find yourself, well, I made it to work and I got a raise. So God can do all sorts of things, and we just need to walk with him. And God reproved you yesterday. And responding, Laban said to Jacob, well, the daughters of my daughters, the grandchildren, and the sons of my sons, and the cattle of my cattle, and all as much as you see is mine, and the things of my daughters. What shall I do with these women today? Are the children of them whom they bore? What am I going to do? Now then, come, we should ordain a covenant, I and you, and it will be a testimony between me and you. And taking a stone, established it as a monument, a stealing. And Jacob said to his brothers, "We'll collect together stones." And they collected together stones and made a hill, and ate there upon the hill. And Laban called it Hill of the Witness. But Jacob called it Hill is Witness. I like this way better than what's in the King James. Sounds pretty convoluted. You'd never know what it's talking about. And Laban said, "Well, this hill witnesses between me and you today." And because of this, the name of this place was called Hill Witnesses. And the vision which he said, now I don't think we know where that place is. And the vision which he said, "May God look between me and you," is that we will leave the other from the other. If you shall humble my daughters, if you should take wives over my daughters, you see that no one, period, should be a period then. If you should, well, it's our semicolon. If you should take wives of my daughters, semicolon. You see that no one is with us, seeing God is witness between me and between you. Now maybe it should be a dash here. You see that no one is with us, seeing, or put it in parentheses. God is witness between me and between you. And Laban said to Jacob, "Behold, this hill and the monument which I stood between me and you. This hill is witness. This hill witnesses, and the monument which I stood, it witnesses. For if I pass over, I to you, neither shall you pass over to me beyond this hill and this monument for evil," that is, to go to war. "The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor," which was Abraham's brother, who had a different God, "judges between us." And so Laban's bringing up Nahor's God. And Jacob swore by an oath according to the fear of his father Isaac. And he sacrificed a sacrifice offering in the mountain and called his brothers. And they ate and drank and went to sleep in the mountain. Everything is now calm. And Laban, rising up in the morning, kissed the sons and daughters of his, and he blessed them. And Laban returned and went forth to his place back up in Haran. So now Jacob is free to go back to see his father, but the only problem is his brother Esau, and we'll find out what happens with Jacob as he returns in the next chapter. I hope you join us. Until then, God bless.